Hey guys, today I want to talk about the VA a little bit. And a lot of people are having a lot of misconceptions about the VA over here. Number one, it's not a hospital, okay? Number two, it's a clinic, okay? And there's a lot of misconceptions that if you're a certain percentage that you can get fully cared for if you're 50% or more. That's simply not true. It's only for service connections, and they're very tight on that most of the time. Now, if something presents itself during your evaluation there each year, or whenever you go in there, something presents itself, they might treat you for a short term, and that's it. Then they cut it off. And also when you get over here, they usually give you all your meds or whatever for the first, I think it's for like 30 days or 60 or 90 days or whatever. They used to do this. I'm not sure if they still do this. They did with me. And they give you all this medication and they take care of you, and then you're done with your non-service connected stuff. Okay, you're done. They tell you that you're only going to be treated for service connections from here on in. And that's the way that clinic works. And a lot of people are under this false assumption, and I keep getting people trying to slam me, and they're wrong on this. They send me this thing saying, Steve, this is what it says, blah, blah, blah. No, they do treat it. And it didn't say that. It says whatever is within their capability, and it's up to them. It is up to them, and they've made the decision, obviously, the manager there, that they're only treating service connections. They will help you for short term, like I said, for things that present themselves. And when you first check into the VA, they will help you out for short term, because they know people come over here under this idea that you're going to get treated for everything over here. And a lot of people come in here and they think that, oh man, I got it made because I can take my VA care over to the Philippines and get treated for everything over there, because I walk into the VA over here with my 10% disability or my 20% disability or my 50% disability, and I walk into the VA over here and they treat me for everything, Steve. They treat me, they tell me this. They says, so it's the same way in the Philippines. Well, it's not. It simply is not. And I get a lot of arguments about this with people, and they send me all these stupid things, and I'm like, dude, I know what it is because I use it. I see the doctors there. I've asked them umpteen times, and a lot of people say, Steve, show them this here. I've showed them some of the stuff that you guys have sent me. It is what it is here. Stop sending me stuff telling me it's different. It's not. We all use it up here. And of course some doctors might let some things slip by or whatever, or if it's aggravating your service connection, then it's a little bit different, because that's something that has to do with your service connection. But if it's not, if you're getting a common cold, or you had something happen, you picked up a virus or something like that, they're not probably not going to treat you for that. Or they might give you some amoxicillin or something like that. You might get lucky because it presented itself when you were there. But sometimes they're going to tell you, hey, you don't have you go in there for a knee issue or something like that, and that's not your service connection. They're going to tell you, hey, you need to go see an outside doctor for this. That's not something we're going to take care of. You're on your own. And remember, it's a clinic, so you're not going to be getting regular hospital care there. You're going to get clinic care there. It really bothers me sometimes, and it bothers a lot of the expats over here that I've talked to that do vlogging sometimes, that a lot of veterans have that misconception that over here they're going to use the VA as their insurance. And if I live around Manila, that the VA is going to become my medical plan over here. I wish it was like that. I really do, because back home, veterans get taken care of really, really well. And if you're a certain percentage or above, you can get full medical care. And actually, in some places, if you're below a certain amount of money, you can also get that medical care too by walking into your veterans, hospital, and they'll take care of you. I mean, when I was back there, when I was in between jobs or something like that, I used to go in there, even though I hadn't, had insurance. I would lose my insurance. I'd walk in there. They'd take care of me. They treated me really, really well. They would take care of almost anything. They'd give me medicines. They'd give me all that stuff, and it was very, very good care. But here, you're not going to get that. Also, a lot of guys have been talking about what's going to happen with the military coming back in here now. You know, where they're probably going to have some sort of hospital. I'm hearing that they're not going to have many people here, and they're probably going to let it go out to Philippine hospitals. They'll probably go in with some sort of card or something like that or whatever. I'm not really sure. Or they might use some Philippine medical centers or something that are on some of these bases or whatever. And if a guy really needs really primo medical care, I'm sure they'll probably maybe bring him to St. Luke's or some hospital in one of these towns nearby the base or whatever. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm hearing, you know, that they're spending so many millions of dollars. It doesn't sound like that's to build a hospital, and I can pretty much guarantee you that that's not going to happen unless they next year the budget is going to be a lot bigger. It looks like they're just the presence is temporary. They want the U.S. to know this is temporary. Troops can go in and out of here. These are shared bases, and they're not going to let us build like a Subic again. It's not happening. Now, a lot of people are under that false assumption on the bases too, that hey, the U.S. is back in here. We're back in here. I'm sure that Subic will be reopened soon, you know, and all this. It's not happening, guys. It's not happening. There's a total of some of the stories I've read have said 9 or 10, and I read first it was 5. Then they gave him another 5, and then they just did 4 more. Now, one guy had told me, no, it's 5, Steve, it's only 5. And then another guy said, no, it was 9. It depends which article you read, to be honest with you, because I read it was 5, 5, and then 4. So I believe they're up to 14 bases, but the last 4 were not signed off yet. So there's a total of 10. Now, who knows? I mean, that was the article I read, okay? That was one of the articles I read. I've actually read a couple of articles on this. And the first one was for 5. The second one said they were already approved for 5. Now 5 more are approved or whatever. They were going to do another. And then just recently they said something about 4 more were going to be on that list. So there's a total of 14 bases, I believe. Now I could be wrong on this. I'm just going off of what I read. Okay, so, but that's what they said. Now, I don't think they're going to have that many troops in here. I do think we're going to be pulling submarines in here. Submarines are going to be the mainstay of this thing with China, from what I'm understanding, because they're talking about, and they're worried, they're concerned that if we go to war with China with Taiwan over Taiwan, that they said that we would probably lose about 70 to 80% of our submarines in a war with China. That's pretty big. Okay, that's a lot of money too. Because once we launch those missiles, and there'll be a lot of missiles being launched, I'm sure, that once we launch those missiles, it gives away your place right away. And they'd be flying all over the place and dropping buoys with sonar and stuff like that, and all their anti-submarine planes would be all over the place, and I'm sure they have stuff already out there. They would find these submarines really quick, you know, but that's it. That means that most of these people that are going to be fighting a war with China would probably be out at sea. It'd be the Navy. So Navy bases are going to be big. I also think because Taiwan's so close to the Philippines, most of the northern bases is where we would put most of our troops, from on Luzon or whatever. I would imagine that most of the Air Force bases around here would be used quite heavily, and they would probably be missile targets too, and there'd probably be secondary airports that we probably already have, you know, in our minds, that we would probably use as an emergency if these other airports get these other places get bombed or whatever, these bases or what have you. I'm sure China's going to target every single airport and air base around here, which is kind of scary, actually. You know what I mean? But do I think that we're going to get there? I don't know. You know, who knows with our current government in the United States? I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't think anybody does. I mean, you know, you could flip a coin basically and try to figure it out that way. You know, some people say no, you know, we would. Some people say we wouldn't. I mean, with that balloon thing that happened in the U.S. that they didn't take it down, who knows? You know what I mean? What we would do if Taiwan's attacked. But the fact that we're throwing bases in here and putting more people over here tells me that we're prepping for something. So I don't think that we would do a stand down and just say, you know what, let them take it. I don't think that's going to happen. But as far as the bases over here and stuff like that, guys, and having hospital care, to get back to that, I think it's going to be the same. I think veterans aren't going to see any changes from our current situation here right now. I mean, we have some of the best doctors at that place, at that VA clinic. I love my doctor there. I have a great doctor, and most of the other people that I've talked to there have said that they got great doctors at the VA. They're very happy with those doctors. And then of course you get some jerk or something that, no, my doctor's he's a jerk, he's an idiot, or she's a jerk, or she's an idiot. You know, I can't stand the VA up there. They do this. That's like the 1 or 2%. The majority of people that go to that VA are very happy up there. Every time I've asked for help up there, every time I've asked for documents, every time I wanted to talk to somebody about a situation that I had, I got help. I remember the day I walked into that place, and I'll be totally honest with you. I had a guy named Ben. Ben is one of the guys that helps people, and he gets switched around in there. And Ben walked me through pretty much everything there and told me what benefits I have and what I can do there, and if I need help with this or this or this, this is who you see. Just talk to me if you see me or whatever, and I'll help you. We'll try to get you situated and taken care of there. I've seen people go in there though, and they tend to mistreat the people there. They get frustrated for one reason or another. And I know we're all older, you know, we get kind of grumpy or whatever, but don't take your grumpiness out on the poor people at the VA. Please don't do that. You know, because when you do stuff like that, you know, I always say these people should be kicked out of there. If you mistreat somebody at the VA, you should be kicked out of there. And it should be like for at least a year or more. You know, possibly permanent. You want to mistreat people, go someplace else and mistreat them. Don't come to the Philippines. I don't want any part of that. You know, and I see people doing that. I've seen a guy at the embassy do it. I've talked about that before. It was terrible watching what that guy was doing to the Filipino lady behind the counter. And I had to talk to him, and a couple other people were looking at him like they were ready to kick the guy's butt, you know, because of the way he was treating people there. And I've seen a guy at the VA, he was kind of doing the same thing, yelling at the lady there, and I was getting ready to get up there, you know, to go talk to him, because the guard was kind of standing there, and I'm like, you know, maybe I should step in, because I'm an American, maybe I should step up and say, hey buddy, don't mistreat those people. You know, they don't deserve that. You know, because sometimes the Filipinos are kind of apprehensive about stepping in on something like that, and I noticed the guard was kind of apprehensive that was there that day, and this was a while back. And I don't think that guard's there anymore. I think actually he got moved over to the embassy. But when I saw that, I was like, you know, this shouldn't be happening here. These people, let's face it, a lot of Americans, sometimes I wish they wouldn't come over here, because those are the people we're trying to get away from. I'm trying to get away from these idiots, and some of them are coming over here. You know, a good amount of people over here are good, decent people, like I said before. We get good people over here, but we see these people sometimes, man, and they take out their animosity on everybody. And sometimes it's fellow expats, and I've been a target of that, and other people have been targets of that over here, and I hate seeing that over here. But anyway, guys, I want to talk about all this stuff a little bit today. It's kind of weighing heavily on me here, but I mostly want to talk about the VA over here, because I thought that would be something we should talk about, because people are under that misconception. Don't get under that misconception that you're gonna use the VA over here as your insurance policy. Number one, remember, clinic. Number two, they only cover service connections. That's it, guys. So don't send me all your garbage saying otherwise, because it's not true, okay? And I read some of the stuff that you guys sent me, and you guys are misreading it in a very, very big way. You're misreading it, okay? It's basically up to the clinic, and the clinic has made the decision that they're just going to cover service connections and the things that I said earlier, okay? They'll cover things when you first get here. They'll help you out for a little while. If something presents itself and it's also bothering your service connection, then they might help you with that too, okay? But it's on them. And remember, it's not a hospital, it's a clinic, so they're limited. God bless, guys. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.